Low energy, unfocused, foggy? You might be dehydrated. Whether it's hot yoga, over 100-degree weather, or too much sun. Gatorlight, with a specialized blend of 5 electrolytes, was scientifically designed to help move fluids into the body faster for rapid rehydration. Shop now at retailers nationwide. Gatorlight hydrates faster than water. Is it in you? Symptoms noted are signs of mild to moderate dehydration. Consult a healthcare professional if symptoms persist.
When you need to build up your team to handle the growing chaos at work, use Indeed Sponsored Jobs. It gives your job post the boost it needs to be seen and helps reach people with the right skills, certifications, and more. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need a hiring hero? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs.
This message is brought to you by Apple Card. Shave ice by the beach. A trip to the state fair. And a throwback flick at the local drive-in. They're more than just items to check off the summer bucket list. They're also opportunities to earn 2% daily cash back when you use your Apple Card with Apple Pay. Apply for Apple Card now and use in-minutes with Apple Pay. Subject to credit approval. Apple Card is issued by Goldman Sachs Bank USA, Salt Lake City branch. Terms and more at applecard.com.
Coach Unplugged is brought to you by great people over at teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. From the Fifth Quarter Studios in Madison, Wisconsin, you're listening to Coach Unplugged. Here is your host, Steve Collins.
Hey everybody, happy Thursday, episode 580 of Coach Unplugged. I would ask for our sponsors to go over and at least call Dr. Dish. Tell them that you've heard about them from me, that you're interested in the machine, that how can they work with you. Doesn't matter if you're a youth coach, doesn't matter if you're a high school coach. It will make your team better scorers. It will. So go over and check them out. And also go check teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. I don't plead, I don't beg, but this will help you become a better basketball coach. I will help you become a better basketball coach. You know, all the games that I've won and all the things, things happen. We lost a game in tournament that, it just happened. We lost. I thought we didn't shoot real well and they shot really well and we lost. But there are things that there are factors that come into play in your teaching and your coaching that we can help you with, that I can help you with. And you'll have my personal email address. You'll be able to respond to me. So go over and check it out. And let's head off to the podcast. I'll start with Coach Suhr, who is the founder of Coaching You. You will love this podcast. I guarantee it. It is going to be broken up into 2 days. There's a little bit of audio issues that we had. So if it goes in and out, hang on. It will be 5-6 seconds. I think I've taken care of most of the audio issues. But I think it's going to be a great podcast. I would ask that you also go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. It is a great time in the off season to become a better coach. It's when I delve in. That's why I'm doing these interviews. It's why I'm delving into my library and doing those kind of things, because I also want to become a better coach. So I'd ask that you go over and check that out. It's a 14-day free trial. Subscribe and like, no matter what you're doing here. We love those reviews on iTunes. If you could do that, we would surely appreciate this. And if you could share with other coaches. I don't talk about that a lot, but I think it's a great thing for us to be able to share kind of what we know. So we're going to go head off talk to Coach Suhr here and enjoy. All right, welcome to Coach Unplugged. I am super excited. I did not tell Coach this as we were talking beforehand, but he was on my top 10 list of people I wanted on Coach Unplugged. So I figured I'd send an email, see if I got a response, and I'm so excited that I have Coach Suhr here with me. So, you've made it, Coach, when you got your own Wikipedia page. So
Do I have one?
You do. You do.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's
so
cool.
it goes through.
I did not know that. That's awesome.
Does. And it goes through that it goes through your playing career. Obviously I did some other research, but it goes through your playing career. And then it goes, you started out in the NBA and then you went to the collegiate level. Did I get that right? Or did I flip flop that?
I started at college level.
Okay.
with Dick Vitale.
All right.
When I was 21 years old, I didn't even graduate in college yet. I had 2 months to go to graduation, and right around this time of year, Dick Vitale was the assistant coach at Rutgers University. He got passed over for the head coaching job when they had a coaching change. And he got the job at this terrible, terrible job at the University of Detroit, which back then there were independents. There were major college division. There were independents. And DePaul, Marquette, Detroit, Dayton, Louisville, those guys were all independents. And we were one of them. But it was a awful program. And it just come off some bad stuff going on there. And they brought Dick in. And back then, you could only have 2 assistants full-time. And I worked Dick's camps in the summer as a college player, just to learn how to coach and teach and play basketball, work out every day when I was supposed to be coaching and running the kids camp. And so I worked for Dick for 4 years, in the summer. And he calls out and says, "Hey, I want you to come and be my assistant." I said, "Really? Like, really?" And I didn't know what the hell I was going to do. I didn't know anything about, college coaching. And I went there, stayed with him for a year, came back east to Fairfield University, which was another big time power in the East, even though it was a Jesuit school with only, like Marquette is and Detroit is, ironically, and with only 2,500 students. But we were a top 25 team in the country, and stayed there for 5 years, had a tremendous team. And then my high school coach was UB Brown, and UB brought me to the Atlanta Hawks. And Mike Fratello, who I kind of grew up with, was 4 years older than me, went to the same college as I did, but Mike was the other assistant. And the great Frank Layden had left me as an assistant there to become general manager of what became the Utah Jazz. So that's how I got to pro basketball.
Okay. And you were there a long time. You were with the Bad Boys. So I remember the Bad Boys.
Oh, yeah.
That was my year.
Yeah, we were there. That was fun. And, so I was there with the Bad Boys with Isaiah and Dumars and Rodman and Lambier and Mahorn and, Aguirre and Dantley and Vinnie Johnson and those guys of the John Sally. And it was just an incredible team, best team I've ever had. And obviously in back-to-back world championships. And then Chuck and I were fortunate enough to go to the Dream Team and take the first time professionals ever went to the Olympics in '92. And at the same time, that concurrently, we made a move from the Pistons to the New Jersey Nets as a coach there. And that's where I'm from, Jersey. So I told him how beautiful it was. He should have known better, but we went there. And we had a good time. We had good young players. Derek Coleman as a second-year player, Kenny Anderson as a rookie, and Drazen Petrovic boomed to become a star. And unfortunately, Chuck only stayed 2 years and became disenchanted with a few things. And he retired, what we felt was retirement. And I went and coached in the CBA for a couple of years and joined then my friend Isaiah Thomas when he took over the Toronto Raptors as an owner and general manager. I went with Isaiah. And then Chuck decided to go back into coaching and went to the Orlando Magic. And Isaiah was nice enough to let me out of a long-term contract to go with Chuck. And I thought it was a great situation for me and my family. And so I went down there, and again, the unfortunate part, Chuck was 67.
Right.
We had a good plan, that he would coach the team for about 3 years, and then I would take over. And after 2 years, he got discouraged and quit again. And so that was unfortunate. So, so I've had 30 years in the league, many years also as an executive in the league. Ran the CBA as a quote-unquote commissioner, and then also owned a team for about 7 years in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And then I have the last 10 years, I've also been involved with the NBA Players Association, which is the number one union in the world of anything, and just an amazing group of people, and teach leadership and coaching to our players that have a desire. They had a good time.
Oops, losing a little bit. Hello.
And at the end, I coached at the University of Central Florida with Michael Jordan's sons. And then the last couple of years, 2 years, I came to LSU, came here, frankly, to coach Ben Simmons. And that was a very rewarding experience. I'm very proud of him.
And you made something early on that I want to unpack for there's a lot of young coaches that listen to this, that,
sure.
You put your time in with Coach Vitale before he hired you. I think people think they're going to apply for a job and they're going to get it. And, like Coach K is a prime example. He doesn't hire anybody that hasn't played for him or he doesn't know really well. Can you unpack that a little bit more? Because you've had so many great jobs. Hey, everybody, I hope you're enjoying this. Make sure you subscribe and like. Leave some comments for us. We sure love those. And if you have 30 seconds, go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. It is a social community unlike any in the web. It is a community of coaches, like-minded, youth and high school. I guess we have some collegiate coaches too, but all coming together, sharing our love of this game and sharing our information. So go over and check it out, www.teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. Okay, go ahead. Good, you go. So unpack what we were just talking about with the young coaches.
What happened was going back to when I was in high school. I think it's really important. I played for UB Brown in high school, Fairlawn High School in New Jersey, and I had him as a sophomore. But in ninth grade, he took us all. When I was coming into their school, I was leaving a private school to come there as a ninth grader in my town. That's where I grew up. And he became our coach. And he was a great basketball coach, but we had no basketball tradition. We were a great big-time state champion football team. UB was the defensive coordinator. He's an incredible football coach. He was also our head baseball coach. He's a phenomenal baseball coach. And he was our basketball coach, and that's what he played in college and stuff. And so what happened was he took us to camp, and I was the first campers ever at a camp called 5-Star Basketball Camp.
Oh, you don't have to tell me about 5-Star. I went to 5-Star and Blue Chip. Those are the two big ones. Yep.
Yeah, they were great camps.
Yeah.
There was no such thing as AAU basketball back then. It was if you were going to be recruited, you went to a big time basketball camp, or coaches saw you in the summer league that you played in.
Yep.
And so I went there. We had only 48 kids the first year that I was there with UB and Garf and all those people.
Right.
And here were 4 of the lecturers that week at a 48-person camp. Bob Knight, who was the head coach of the United States Military Academy, Army. Chuck Daly, the assistant coach at Duke University. George Raveling, who's the assistant coach of Villanova University, and obviously became a great, great coach. And so those are the people that were getting there. My fellow campers became we had 6 guys that played in the pros, but the following year, that's when Rick Pitino came to the camp, and Seth Greenberg and his brother. So we started to get all these people coming in there, but that's when I learned how to coach. And because the teaching at that camp was the most important thing, not the games that we played.
Right.
We had stations, and so when I came back as a college player after my freshman year in college, Garth let me teach a station coach in the NBA level to the best players in the country. And I also got to coach a team in the NBA league, which was ridiculous. I mean, we had fabulous high school coaches then working at the camp, Ralph Willard and people of that caliber, and Pete Gillen and Mike Fratello. And those guys are all the coaches at the camp, but I'm getting to coach in that level of league. And all of a sudden, I knew when I was a sophomore in high school, I wanted to be a coach because UB had that much influence on me. So it was like I picked my college to go to, not because it was the best school, because I knew I wanted to be a coach and I knew I wanted to be a high school teacher. So I said, well, I can't, even though I like English, I like history, I can't teach that stuff. I'd be bored to death. So, my mom was a history teacher and stuff. So I just wanted to be in the gym. So I said, I'm going to major in physical education. So I picked one of the best PE schools in the country, which happened to be 10 miles from my home. And that's why I picked it. And because I knew I was going to be a coach. Now, 95 to 100% of kids that go to college now have no idea what they're going to major in.
Right.
My kids didn't. And so I'm one of the few that knew what the hell I wanted to do. And
Right.
I'm lucky. And I'm really lucky. And so that's how I prepared for it. But
And it was
I knew, and I was prepared so that by the time I finished college, totally different era, right?
It was a different era, I think, as far as that. But I tell all the young coaches that you got to go out and connect. You got to go, and we'll come back and talk about Coach U and all that kind of stuff at the end. But it's about going out and meeting. You got to meet the people that are the game changers, the people that understand the game, that understand all that. And when I was growing up, and I went to Blue Chip, and I went to 5-star, and that kind of stuff, that was where you had to go, and that's where the assistant coaches and all that went too. But it's interesting that you feel like you learn the game there. That's an interesting perspective.
Absolutely. That's where I learned it. That's where I learned to teach it, also.
Yeah, I mean, Garf was great. I wish I'd have had him on. I met him. We played in the Beach Ball Classic down in South Carolina, and I got to meet him, and he kind of connected with one of my guys, and he was a pretty special man, and, he changed the way basketball is in the U.S., I think, in a lot of ways. I was at that camp, and I saw,
especially in the East Coast,
Yeah, definitely in the East Coast. And he, you wanted to make his list, and I can remember all that stuff when you were growing up. But I went to I went to Blue Chips, which was in Rensselaer, Indiana, and I got to see Akeem Olajuwon play Larry Bird 1-on-1. It was awesome. Like they came to camp and talked.
Wow.
Yeah, it was something for a 17-year-old to see that. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So what would you tell yourself as a younger coach? Is there anything you would do different? Is there anything you would do the same?
No, well, for me, no, I wouldn't change anything because as my mom, when she passed away at 93, she said to me, you've disappointed your dad and I, you never got to use your college degree.
Hey, Coach, hope you're enjoying the podcast. A couple things that doesn't cost you a cent to do. You can subscribe and leave a written review. We really like that. You can go over to our YouTube channel. Just type in Teach Hoops on YouTube, and you'll find our YouTube channel. Subscribe, there, so you'll always get the updates. Next thing is, if you do any shopping on Amazon, go down below, click our Amazon link, www.teachhoops.com/Amazon. Anytime you're doing shopping on Amazon, we get a small little commission. Helps us with our hosting fees. Be surprised how expensive it is to run one of these. And if you really love this stuff, let me help you. Let me mentor you. Let me email. Let me get on one-on-one calls. Let me show you all the resources that will help me become one of the winningest coaches in the state of Wisconsin. That's why I'm doing this. I want to help coaches become better. So teachhoops.com can do that. All right, let's head off to the podcast.
I said, no, I haven't. I coached 30 years in the NBA. No, I never got to use it because I never taught in high school.
Right.
Never had the opportunity. That was my whole life's mission.
Right.
I wanted to be like you be. I wanted to coach in high school. So from that standpoint, I didn't fulfill a goal because I went immediately into college. But the biggest thing is to prepare yourself. Number one, as you mentioned, you need to make contacts. It's everything in life is about relationships.
Right.
And it's there's a difference between networking and relationships.
Yes.
I was in San Antonio last weekend and Columbus, Ohio for the women's Final Four and the men's Final Four, representing Fast Model Software, one of my sponsors. And so I know tons of women's coaches, tons of men coaches, and they all want to get a new job. I shouldn't say all. Many want to get new jobs.
Right.
And it really pisses me off, frankly, because I believe in, the job you have is the best job in the world, right now. You got to make it the best job.
Right.
And you need to serve whoever you're serving then, whether it be the kids you're coaching, the school you work for, the head coach you work for. And so don't be trying to go, if you're going to move, let it happen somewhat organically, rather than being out there self-promoting. Don't be a self-promoter.
Yeah, I love. I want to. I think that's really big. What you just said, that there's a difference between relationships and networking. I think that's a huge thing for the people listening. That it obviously you have to have connections, but everything that I've done has been because of relationships I've built over time. People have asked me, because I've been pretty successful at the high school level, why haven't I made the jump? And why would I? I've built these relationships. I'm making a difference in their lives. Sure. The grass isn't always green. I think people forget.
Oh, well, no, that's a huge part of it. And so I'm watching in San Antonio last week. I love to watch people, and I'm watching these coaches on the men's level running around like dogs in heat, and trying to get what's next for them, and they don't even know about it. They're applying for jobs. They don't even know what state the school is in. They don't even know if they have a campus. George Raveling years ago said to me, Brendan, you and I are going to make up a name of a school. We'll put the damn thing in Florida, and we'll have 1,000 applicants.
Right.
There'll be no school, but
Yes.
we'll have 1,000 applicants. And he is the truth right there. And you know what? It doesn't even matter what the salary. There'll be that many.
Right.
And that's a sad state for unfortunately for our profession. Most of the places I've gone, I've stayed quite a while.
Right.
And I like to do that because I make a commitment to help someone. And recently, I said to a coach that said, hey, I'm really looking to move on. I said, you were at a place for 1 year.
Right.
For 1 year. Why? Didn't you take this job? You moved your family there. Now you want to jump across the country again? And so that's a part of me that bothers me. But, and everyone will come up and say, hey, I want to be a college coach. A. B, I want to go in the pros. And I say, it's kind of like water will find its level. I don't want a college coach coming to me that gets fired or is put on probation and say, oh, I'm ready to work in the pros now. No, it's the highest level of basketball. It's it's not a halfway house.
Yeah,
and so, we pay more than anyone else. So if you're lucky enough to get there, you're going to get there because you're really good and you have great relationships with people that are running or coaching the team. And that's it. You might not be the best coach for the job, and many of the guys that are coaching in the league are not, in some capacity, I don't mean head coaches, are not the best coaches, but they have a relationship with the people that are running the team or coaching the team.
Right.
And that's the thing. And so when I was running the Knicks with Isaiah, I would get 1,000 applicants a year for various jobs in our organization. And I was in charge of hiring. And, and all these applicants that I'd get for 5 years, I never hired one person based on their resume, because I don't know if what you have on that is true, first of all.
Right.
I have no idea. And so but if a friend of mine who I value who they are very much calls me and says, Brendan, you need to talk to Joe Blow. Yep. He's really good, and here's why. I'm going to talk to that person.
Right.
And that's the way I feel most of the hiring is done. And Chuck Daly had told me that years ago. You never get a good job with a resume.
Right.
You get good jobs based on relationships.
Yep. And I've told people what the relationship does. And I tell my students this too. I tell them that it opens a door. Now, whether you walk through the door and whether you stay in that room is up to you. A relationship will just maybe get you a conversation. It will maybe get you a door opened. That's why I say education. That's what education does. Education opens doors. It doesn't necessarily mean you're a prime example of that. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to. I said if you don't go to college, then it's going to close the door. Do you want that door closed? I don't think you do. You want it open just in case. So that's why I talk to my students about that all the time too. I think
Great point.
Yeah. I was listening to your last podcast. I was doing some homework before this, and you were talking about Coach Beeline. I think he's a prime example of someone that has worked his way up. For every coach out there, he should be the poster child of high school, junior college, small college, mid-major, high. He's the guy and you can see he knows the game. He knows how to relationships with kids. He knows how to coach.
He's the guy, I've known John for a long time. And the thing that really impresses me about him is that he keeps changing his style. And that's very hard to do as a coach. He was a guy that had a very good system, a very unique system, a lot of ball movement, a lot of screening, very disciplined. Played a 1-3-1 half-court lane defense that was very difficult to attack.
Yep.
He goes to Michigan, gets his ass kicked for a couple of years, doesn't know anyone in Michigan, hasn't recruited there, doesn't have any local coaches. Next thing you know, he changes completely.
Right.
He changes completely. And I give him so much credit for that. And now his offensive style, you'd think the guy's coaching Golden State.
Right.
They're free flowing, tons of pick and rolls, great spacing. His players really know how to play pick and roll, and I give that man a lot of credit because he has so much confidence in teaching the game that he has gone and learned how to teach something different.
Right.
And most coaches at college refuse to change.
Yep.
I can go when I coach in college. I can almost bet that a coach I'm coaching against, if I've been there 5 years, I don't even have to go worry about new scout report. He's doing the same damn thing every year.
Right.
It's a joke.
Yes, it is.
Pros, it changes every freaking 2 weeks.
Right, every 2 weeks, and there's so much analytics and stuff going on in the NBA. Well, both levels.
Absolutely.
But I want to unpack this a little bit more because I think this for a lot of the young coaches this is a big thing that I think back to when we were talking about having Coach Wesley and some of those players that I had in that era. We were up and down. We weren't loyal a merry amount of old, but we were up and down. My system has changed because I don't have those kind of players anymore. Now I'm probably a poster child for the shot clock at the high school level. But I
wanting no shot clock, right?
Yes. So
you don't want a shot clock. You're a typical damn high school coach now. Oh God.
Yes. But I don't have those players, so I want to give my guys the best opportunity to win. So I would love to go up and down the court and
sure.
Be in the 90s. But if you don't have, you can't make chicken soup out of chicken. What? So I think that is for the young coaches, it's like I think they all look at now like Villanova. They all look at this. It's like I think a big thing for young coaches is you have to look at your players, especially at the high school level if you're a high school coach, and what do you have coming and what do you have now and what style will fit them. And you might have to change that every 2 years, every year. Who knows?
That's the beauty of coaching.
Yeah.
I have 2 children. They're grown now. But I tell every clinic and corporate speech I give, I say to the people in the audience, I said, listen, this is not an HR question. I said, but how many of you have children? And they'll raise their hand. And the ones that are single, I said, how many of you were once a child? And they'll laugh and they'll put their hand up. And I'll say, if you had more than one sibling in your family or you have more than one child, they're both the same, right?
Yeah.
And they go, no. And my point is, if we got 12 or 14 or 15 players on a team, you got 12 or 15 different kids. So you got to coach every one of them differently.
Right.
And, that is how it's just like, in the classroom, when you're teaching a class, if you taught every student the exact same based on how they could perform, you wouldn't be doing them justice.
Right.
You've got to try to reach every child based on their ability. And it's the same deal in coaching. So if if you had let's say you were teaching at the high school level, you were teaching advanced placement English, and all of a sudden if you're not that sharp as a teacher, you're going to get your ass kicked in there because those kids demand so much from you, and you have to be sharp.
Right.
And so, the same thing in coaching. The hardest players to coach, in my opinion, are the best players.
Right.
They're the gifted students. So if you go to the NBA and you can't coach, those players, I don't care what the hell their SAT scores ever were, they're going to say, you know what? That guy, I don't know what the hell he's doing.
Right. No, I agree. I teach AP stats. That's what pays my bills. I'm an AP stats teacher.
How about that? Yeah.
So I'm telling you, if I ain't ready,
so you don't lesson plan the night before. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll eat you.
Yeah. Yes. And that's the beauty of this. And so they are so now. I don't mean this in a bad way, but bad players or slower students, you can do anything you want because they'll do whatever you tell them. They just won't be very good at it.
Right.
And that's so. The hardest thing to do is to coach really talented, gifted people, and to teach them because they are always demanding. Kevin Garnett, Doc Rivers told me, was the most demanding player he ever coached because he demanded excellence from Doc. Doc said he leaped in bounds coaching him because he made him every day be a better coach.
Right.
And that's the same with Isaiah and Lambier and guys like that. If you didn't have your A game, they'd eat you alive.
Right. Yeah.
And that's the beauty of coaching and teaching.
And that's any profession.
Same skill set. Same skill set. Yeah.
It's any profession. So let's do. I got a couple questions, then we'll do our rep, and then I want to get back to coaching.
Sure.
You too. So I want you to think of one coaching moment that we could dive into that you think our audience would, anywhere in your 30 years, they could learn from. Is there any coaching moment over the last 30 years?
Well, I think I'll go to a couple of moments, but one is a big thing. Like we have a lot of high school coaches on the call,
right?
Men and women probably. The biggest thing that we need to do in our country is to kind of unify our rules so that we can develop kids properly.
Yep.
So that we can develop young men, young women to play at the next level. So the high school kids can go and play at college, whether it's D3 or D1 ball.
Right.
And so we need to play 4 quarters like we do in high school. We need to play that in college.
Right.
We played in every country in the world except the United States. Men's basketball uses quarters. Now think about that.
We went to halves in our state. I was against it, but we went to halves.
Oh, I know. Wisconsin. Would the damn governor say it was budget cut? No, I mean, it's almost like people say, well, we can't have a shot clock because of budget cut. I'm joking on that, obviously.
Right.
I love you, governor. So, one of the things that, so I really wish we would teach the clock because I go and do clinics all over the world, and I'd love to watch a 14-year-old kid in Argentina or China,
right,
or somewhere in Germany, running the ball up the court with a 24-second clock, 8 seconds to get the ball over the half-court line. Isn't that great? I mean, and it's all about teaching young people to make quick decisions.
Right.
That's
and would you make everything 24?
Everything. Yes. Everything. Because that's the way we play the game.
Right.
College, 24 seconds. Yes, okay. 24 seconds. Absolutely.
Thanks, everybody. I hope you love that. There's going to be part 2 is going to be tomorrow. And again, I apologize a little bit for the in and out with the audio. We had a little bit of internet issues, but this was such an important podcast for us to get out to you. And I think you're going to see that tomorrow you're going to even get some more tidbits. So, and make sure you subscribe and like. Go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. Hey, Coach, I hope you enjoyed that. Make sure you subscribe and like. Leave a written review. We would love those. Also, I would ask that you go down and think about joining teachhoops.com. I know you've been thinking about it. It's like, oh, should I do it? It's a lot of money. It's like, trust me, it will pay for itself. I would not, I have partners I have to pay, but it is worth every penny. So go over and check it out. And then if you're going to do any shopping, click that Amazon link down below.
NFL football season is here, which means when you switch to Verizon, it feels like touchdown, because you get NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube on us when you buy an eligible 5G phone on select unlimited plans, which means you can watch every out-of-market game every Sunday afternoon. And it's all on us. Now that's the Verizon way to kick off the NFL football season right. Switch and get NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube on us, only with Verizon.
I'm not giving up. I am selling the building.
The final season of FX's The Bear.
The restaurant is flooded.
Everything's either going to be okay.
No, stop.
Or not.
We are outgunned and we are outmanned, but we have each other.
FX's The Bear, the final season. All episodes now streaming on Disney+.